Hi guys, Chris here with a video tutorial on yarn and how to read the labels on your yarn. When you get a new crochet pattern, you are going to have in your materials list, it is going to say that, and that's one of the first things on your pattern, it is going to say something along the lines of so many grams and so many yards of a certain weight of yarn for your project. So here I am to tell you about those. I have four very different types of yarn here, from least favorite around to my very favorite. This one is a Hobby Lobby, obviously. I got it on sale. They were clearancing them out. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about the label on this one first, and you'll see how that is actually similar to even what I consider one of my very favorite yarns. So this here, you usually are going to get a free pattern with this mass-produced yarn, especially the acrylics, usually the cottons as well. On the more higher end, you usually don't get the free patterns, but there are plenty online. I am going to be doing tutorials on some free patterns too, so you can find free patterns everywhere. Do not be bought in with the free pattern, because there are plenty out there. Now, just to start off really quickly here, this is telling you what you have in your hand. This is in case you are doing a big project that's going to require maybe 8 to 10, balls, hanks, yarn, yarn lots. Make sure that your lot number is the same on all of them, because you can end up with a king size blanket. I have done this. You can end up with, at the very beginning of your work, a very different color, even though you picked up what says the same thing here. It may not be the same thing here. So this is very important to look at if you have a big project. That's number one thing. Number two thing, I will not be dealing with this right here at all in any of my videos, because I do not knit. That's what that is. That's what the X is. That's 2 knitting needles. And that's just basically telling you what size to use there. What I will be dealing with is the crochet hook here. This one, let's see if I can bring it just a little bit closer. Tells you that this weight of yarn is compatible with a 5.5 millimeter or an I9 size hook. Now, what that means, if you don't know anything about hooks, and that's okay too, I will be doing tutorials on that. This is an H hook. This is a 5 millimeter hook, and this is to me a pretty big hook, but it's kind of actually right in the middle of your crochet hook. So this will be on the bigger end in your packs of hooks when you buy like a big starting pack of hooks. So this is telling you that this is a 4 weight right here, 4, which is a medium weight yarn, which is the thickness of yarn. See how that kind of fits in that hook with a teeny tiny little hook that would never ever fit. So this is the size that you will use. And that brings us to all of these little symbols right here. Basically, sizes here. This is your laundering little symbols here. So this is telling you the temperature. Ironing, drying, you cannot bleach this one, so it's X'd out. This, I think this is a dry cleaning, actually. I don't exactly know what that means, but if you have any questions about it and you're going to dry clean your stuff, then make sure that you look those up, because there are a lot of symbols on the dry cleaning end that you may need to look up. This is a 100% acrylic yarn. The yarn snob in me hates that. I do not like acrylic yarns at all, but it may be what you want to use in your project, and you may like, you know, the soft squishy feel of one that you get in your hands and just can't pass it up. So next thing is, on your patterns you are going to see that you're going to need, usually you don't see, especially here in the United States, you're not going to see a lot to do with meters or ounces. You're going to see you need 100 grams, and you know that equates to about 174 yards. So that's what that means. We are back at the beginning of our yarn label again. So there is that label read. So moving on to the next one, this is a cotton, which is a little bit better. They can take heat. Acrylics are, they're man-made, and they are plastic, which you cannot use in the kitchen. You do not want to use this for setting anything hot on, or it will melt. So that's where cotton comes in. That's why you see a lot of things in the kitchen made with cotton. This is a lovely cotton, actually. You can find it at Hobby Lobby. I love this cotton. Holds up pretty well, and again, mass produced, and has you a free pattern there. Again, same thing. We've got a lot number and a color name and all that stuff here. Same thing again. You've got so many grams, so many yards. You will see that this is a different yardage. This is 100 grams and 174 yards, where this is 100 grams and 180 yards. So this is, you know, has a little bit more yardage, but it's still 100 grams. So that's why you see the variation on that with your patterns. This again is the same weight as this one. It is a medium number 4 weight, and here are all your laundering informations there. You have your information about your hooks here and here. And now we're moving on to another one. This is a very different yarn from the ones that we've just been looking at. This is a sock yarn, which means that people make socks out of them, but it also is the I'm going to use air quote weight of the yarn, which means it is very, very thin, and you can see that compared to this one over here. When you pull them up side by side, you can see how much thicker this is, and that is your weight that you see on the back of this one. You've got your medium weight here. This is a much lighter weight, and again, even though this is made in Japan, you still have all the same information on your label. So you've got, this is, you know, your lot number, and make sure that that matches if you're going to use a whole bunch of it. Composition. Here is your composition. You've got cotton, wool, nylon, and silk in this one. And again, you've got 100 grams, and this one is 420 meters, which is significantly longer because it's thinner, but it's still 100 grams. Makes sense, right? And here are your suggested needle size. We're not going to use that because I'm holding a crochet hook. We are dealing with crochet. Now, crocheters get left out of this an awful lot. On a lot of this higher end stuff, there is only knit information. There is no information that deals with crochet, but there's a little cheat, and the little cheat is on your pattern. It will say you need 100 grams of fingering weight, and you are going to use this size hook. Your pattern will tell you what size hook to use, even if you don't see it on your yarn label. And also swatch. Please make a swatch. Here where it says knit a swatch, definitely crochet a swatch as well. Make sure that your number of stitches equals the length that you are supposed to get. So let's just say five stitches equals 2 millimeters. That would be, you know, that would be close to what I get with something this size, or maybe just a little bit bigger. But getting a little bit off topic, here are your laundering information. Again, even things that are made in Japan have the same information here for us, so that we know what we're doing. And here is my favorite one out of the bunch. I love wools. I will use a wool if I can get away with it on absolutely everything. They are so much better if you get them. If you get them from somebody who actually cares, like somebody who's not, you know, like shearing the sheep and making them all unhappy, then you're actually doing a great thing, because you're not putting another plastic out there on the shelf. You're just taking fur from sheeps and alpacas and, you know, things like that, which are lovely to work with. Once you work with something like this, you will also hate acrylics. It just feels awful sliding through your fingers. So this yarn label is different. It doesn't go all the way around. It just goes into the ball. Tells you the exact same information. So you've got merino wool. Again, one of my favorites. I love merino wool. This one also has cashmere in it, so it's super soft. The weight on this one is a number 1, which is a very fine fingering weight. Fingering weight is almost the smallest that you can get. The only thing smaller than this is a lace weight. So you will see fingering weights with a lot of the socks. The sock yarn over here is the same weight as this one, although this is what we call a thick and thin, where it is a single ply and it has thick spots and thin spots. This, I think this is a 2 or 3 ply here, which means there are a couple of plies stuck together or rolled up real nicely together. It gives you very, you know, pretty stitch definition. This does as well, but you know, it's one of those things, you know, what do you like? This is what we're going to use. Tells you where it was made and the lot number, and of course how to get more. So superwash. Let's talk about that really quickly, and then I'm going to cut this video off. But superwash, when you're talking about wools, superwash has been through a process which makes it able to go into the washer. That is a very important thing to know, because most wools are scratchy and they're hard and they're uncomfortable to have, especially for cowls and shawls around your neck. I hate it. I have to have a superwash. They are soft and squishy and can go in the washer, you know, if I get food on it, because I tend to do things like that. But there you go. There's a very quick rundown on what to expect when you're looking at your yarn labels. If you have any questions, ask me below and I would be more than happy to help you out. I've been crocheting for a very long time and I love to help people. I want everybody to have as much fun with this as I do. Check out my Etsy store if you're interested. That is the Batty Belfry. And I will see you in the next tutorial. Thanks for sticking around.